Inspector network monitoring software, understanding technology blind spots. Find cracks in your firewall. The firewall is the primary IT security platform for controlling access to internal systems and what information can flow in and out. Examining a firewall's logs shows its internal workings but will not verify the firewall is performing its control functions properly. To find the cracks in your firewall, you must verify its performance off-box by objectively analyzing its internal control effectiveness and comparing those findings to the policy standard. Firewall rules and performance should conform to the organization's policies. Any system, application, or user that aren't authorized to use the network resources should be blocked in the firewall rules and removed from service. Inspector software connects to the network just inside the firewall, where it analyzes and logs bidirectional traffic, providing independent verification of internal control effectiveness and documenting the organization's IT security management process. Firewall cracks are policy cracks, unauthorized systems, services, applications, and users. If you know what should be on your network, it makes it a lot easier to identify stuff that shouldn't: devices, egress paths, applications, and users. Let's look at the Inspector web interface, and I'll explain how to eliminate the blind spots and get better results from your firewall. We'll start with inbound network traffic. This information corresponds to the firewall's inbound rule set. The Network Inbound menu lists all internal exposed TCP hosts. These systems were accessed via an external client network connection request. Each server should support a defined business purpose. If it serves no purpose, it should be decommissioned. If they all play a role, next examine the TCP services they are hosting. This is a listing of the active inbound TCP ports. Each should correspond to a well-defined business process. Various applications use FTP, or File Transfer Protocol, as a way to exchange data. It uses one channel or port for setup and another to move the data. If a port doesn't meet a business need, it should be blocked in the inbound firewall rule. Eliminating unneeded communication vectors reduces risk and unnecessary IT administration. Next, examine external clients. These are the people accessing your stuff. This can be a tedious task, but it helps verify whether external users should be granted access or not. Once completed, periodic review is appropriate. Scrolling down, you note users from China, Israel, Korea, Switzerland, and Indonesia. If you don't do business there, blocking them reduces risk exposure. Next, we'll examine internal servers offering UDP services. Following the same protocol, verify each server serves a business purpose. If a server isn't needed, it should be removed from service. Next, select services to examine open ports on the UDP servers. These are the active open UDP ports. Each should serve a verifiable purpose. Next, verify the external UDP clients are authorized. It's all about minimizing risk. You can drill into each external network to verify access authorization. Who is shows the identity. Once you winnow out the unwanted visitors, you significantly improve perimeter security. Once servers, ports, and users are verified and the firewall rules hardened, you can confidently address your daily management tasks. Firewall rules should not be changed unless called out in policy. It's prudent to verify the firewall rules on a regular basis. Next, we'll examine outbound firewall rules that control internal users' access to the internet world beyond. The same protocol applies. Verify that everything maps to a legitimate process. Next, examine TCP outbound services. These are applications in use. This represents the active ports with the ID indicating the decoded protocol. Web was the top bandwidth burner at 33 gigs. Map everything to the policy and block the rest. Remove any client apps that are not authorized. To identify internal workstations associated with a specific port or application in the ID, click on the link. The Detail window lists all the associated TCP port 1937 servers. Click Client List for the internal users using that port. The inspector links all the network data flows and communications together, making for fast and easy cleanup. Next, we'll examine the UDP servers and services, verifying the good and blocking the unauthorized. This is the DNS protocol server detail for UDP port 53, showing it connected with 18,451 external systems. It's a good example that every server connect represents a risk. Minimizing risk and exposure is always a good idea. Click on the external servers list to see how the internet is being used. The top hog is an Akamai streaming server. In fact, the top 10 external servers are all hosting multimedia content. This illustrates the importance of a published IT operations policy. It's not an individual's call. Policy establishes an organizational process for addressing technology use. First offense, warning and policy reminder. Second offense, reprimand and a policy refresher course, etc. Management is a process. We hired an HR consulting firm to create an IT policy and technology training curriculum. It provides a way for IT staff and executives to educate users and manage IT operations to its maximum potential. This is included in our licensing model. Lastly, it's important to look at the entire communications path, not just the firewall rules. For example, a rule may correctly block traffic, but if a rogue system is sending constant connection requests, it could flood a port or device and possibly crash it. Clicking on the failed column to sort the clients with the most failures. Failures are normal, but excessive failures are often an indicator of more serious issues. Drill into the top failed client to look at the session timeline to see if failures were consistent, sporadic, or site-specific. This system made continual outbound requests, all blocked by the firewall. By looking at the entire flow, you can identify and correct the source of most issues. Inspector provides visibility to eliminate the cracks in your firewall, so only authorized devices, ingress-egress paths, applications, and users may utilize your IT resources. Inspector offers an effective way to maximize firewall performance and control by eliminating the blind spots that are the cause of over 90% of all IT disruptions and threats. If you'd like to try Inspector software and expose your network's blind spots, it's a fast, easy, and free process. Click on the download link below this video or call us at 303-800-5421. We are happy to help.